In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my new writing companion, the Freewrite Traveler. Let's get right into it. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. We are talking about a different tech item in today's video, and that is the Freewrite Traveler. This is essentially a device that you can use for distraction-free drafting or writing, and I very recently got this a couple of months ago as an anniversary gift from Ian. It's a really special gift because it's kind of like a dual gift. He got it for me for our anniversary, but he also got it for me as kind of like a celebration into this new era that I'm entering, which if you have not heard, I am soon to be a published author. I signed a book deal, and so writing is going to be a huge thing in my life for the unforeseeable future. I'm so excited for the journey. I'll tell you more about it in a sec, but yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of writing, so I needed a device that is really effective for writing long pieces for a long period of time, which is also distraction free, which is, I think, the main thing about this device. So in today's video, I'm going to share as much as I possibly can about the Freewrite Traveler in terms of like specs and all of the cool things that it can do, and also kind of like its mission, like its purpose. And I will also share some initial thoughts that I have based off of my use, which again, I've only used it for a couple of months on and off, but I will share some of my perspective on it. So let's jump right into it, starting with what exactly this is meant for. So this device, I'm going to open it so that you can get a little idea of what I'm talking about as I talk about it. But this device is a tool for distraction-free writing. So as you saw in a second, and I'll show you more in detail momentarily, but it has a keyboard attached to it, and it has like a little screen. And so it's sort of like a dumb tech item. It's not something like your laptop where you have access to so many things. You have access to the internet and so many tools and distractions. This is purely meant for you to sit down, type, and just see what you're typing and see nothing else and not be able to access anything else. This can be really helpful for people who are writers, of course, drafters, copywriters, anybody who's doing anything in the writing realm, and you really desperately need distraction-free writing time. As a writer myself, it's kind of crazy to say that, but as a writer myself, I personally get super distracted on my laptop. I tend to open up new tabs. I tend to like look up a lot of things. I tend to look for synonyms and definitions and all sorts of things, which is really helpful on the writing sense when I'm talking about editing. But if I just need to get words down on a page and I don't want to think about like any of the mistakes that I'm making, I don't want to think about anything, honestly. I just need to get words down on the page. Otherwise, I won't write, or all of the little distractions will stop me from getting to like a particular writing goal or a writing length. Something like this is extremely useful and helpful. And so while we talk about like tech items that are single use and they're now called dumb tech, they can actually be extremely helpful for particular instances like this. And if we do get single use tech items like this and we put it to great use, then I think it is 100% worth it. So that's just like a quick overview as to what the Freewrite Traveler is. Now I say Traveler because that is the kind of addition that I got of the Freewrite devices, but there are many devices actually on their website. There are really large devices that look like typewriters. There are flat devices that don't even have like this little closing off kind of screen. There's different colors, there's different designs, there are different keyboards. So Freewrite is actually like in the space of creating all sorts of different distraction-free writing tools, and it's really cool. I went with this one because of the price, and I'll talk about the price in a second when I get into like the specifications. But two, I definitely wanted something that I can throw into my bag and travel around with, either to the office, which you all know I go to the office twice a week in Manhattan from New Jersey, and also to go to like coffee shops, to libraries, whatever it may be, just like any other place other than my home. Also being able to carry it around my home very easily, kind of like a laptop, but even smaller than that, compared to like something really big and bulky, which they do have options for. So yeah, this is the Traveler. I'm gonna give you a little close-up as to how it looks. This is the front of it. This is the back of it. It is quite thin. which is really, really cool. As you can see, I'm holding it very, very easily. It's very light. I believe it's 1.6 pounds. Again, I'll get into the specs in a second. And I'm just going to open it up for you so that you can see. Here we go. This is what it looks like from the side angle. But yeah, this is what it looks like completely open. It's like a little laptop, but it's much, much smaller. I'm sure it looks gigantic in my hands right now, but maybe I can show you my laptop in comparison. So this is the Freerite Traveler, and this is my laptop. As you can see, there is a major, major difference in terms of size and weight, honestly. But yeah, it is very compact. It is very tiny and ready to throw in your bag. As you saw in my initial video showcasing this, I had this in my What's in My Bag Autumn Edition video. So very nice and small. The screen is also very nice and small. This is the screen right here. And I don't know if you can tell, but it uses e-ink technology. So even more of like a dumb tech item. It's not using like a high tech, super updated kind of screen. We're really simplifying here because again, this is meant for distraction-free writing and just distraction-free writing, nothing else. We have the keyboard down here at the bottom. There are some certain buttons that I will show you in a second and like what they mean, but there are like special buttons in here so that you can kind of like click particular buttons and do particular things on this. It has like its own little system and processing. And then there are some buttons at the top over here. And then it's mostly just keyboard. Like this device is mostly keyboard and then just a tiny screen with a couple of special features to kind of curate the experience of a Freerite or a Freerite Traveler in the most efficient way as possible. Okay, so I'm going to close it down for a second and jump into the specs for you. Just because I know that I can talk about this and I can share my personal opinions and thoughts and iterations of what I know about the specs, but I know a lot of you are very interested in like what it says on the website, what are the exact dimensions, the exact numbers, all of that good stuff, and I don't want to mess that up. So I have my laptop here on the side so that I can pull those details up for you and I can share them with you. So very first things first, the price of this thing. And I know the price might have people click off the second that I say it, but please stick with me here. I will also talk about why I think it could be potentially worth it or really, really great as a gift. We are heading into the holiday season, but the price for this one is $549. I know, it's really steep. The first time I saw the Freerite devices, period, I was very, very turned off by the price, and I really didn't want to get it for a long time. I probably would not have gotten it, period, because of the price. But again, like I mentioned, I got this as an anniversary gift and it was our 10-year anniversary. So it was a big one, and so I think it was worth that big anniversary price, if you will. But yeah, it's $549. They do sometimes have discounts, I believe once or twice for the entire year. So maybe as we're heading into the holiday season, like Black Friday time, there will be a discount. So just a heads up on that. And you can also buy it on Amazon. I will link it down below. So if you do get points through Amazon, you can get a discount in that sense as well. They also have payment options, all of that good stuff. But yeah, that is the price. So now that we've gotten the rip the band-aid off kind of detail out of the way, let's talk about the other specs that they have detailed on the website. The first thing is that it's portable, as I just clearly showed you. It is 1.6 pounds, so it's pretty light. It's not super light. It's mostly a keyboard, so it does have to have some weight to it, but it's not heavy in the slightest either. Okay, the next spec is the e-ink display, which I did just show you. I'm just going to show you how it looks like when I open it, by the way. There's like a screensaver, if you will, and then it clicks over to the actual screen of like what you're working on. Right now I have it on like a Wi-Fi screen. Oh, no, the settings right now. So it does have an e-ink display, which is similar to what you see on e-readers, on the Books Palma 2, on the Kindle, on the Kobo, all of that good stuff. And it says that it's the latest generation e-ink panel with productivity console screen. I don't know what all of those fancy words mean, but essentially it's an e-ink screen, and it's got its own kind of system, its own processing system that is very specific to these devices, which I like. Like, instead of them using a processing system, like say for example Android, if you will, on a device like this, and it's not really curated for the device, it can get a little clunky, it can get a little laggy, it can be a little nonsensical when you're clicking through things. So I like that there's a dedicated processing system going on here. The next spec is the full-size keyboard, which I have talked about. So it says it's a scissor switch keyboard for smooth drafting. I'll type on it in a second, but let's do a little close-up. That's what the keyboard looks like. There's like a little red detail here, the red button up there, but then everything else is white. And now I'm going to type for you so that you can hear the switches. So as you can see, it is very light, it is very subtle, but it does have a really nice sound to it. I think it's particularly nice if you are going to a coffee shop, if you are going to the library and you're typing and you don't have like a really obnoxious keyboard. I have to admit, I love a good, creamy, loud, potentially obnoxious keyboard, and I do have 2 of those for my different workstations. But for this one, because it's portable and you are going to places where you could potentially disturb people, it's nice to have something that is light, subtle, but still has a little bit of a feel and sound to it so that it doesn't feel like absolutely nothing. I hate keyboards where you feel absolutely nothing to a point where you don't even know if you're typing or not. So I like that this doesn't do that. And I do think that they take pride in their keyboards, because if you go onto their website and you see other devices from them, there's like some really cool keyboards. Again, the price changes with that, but there are some really cool keyboards. The next spec that they have here is that it's distraction-free drafting. So it's a dedicated tool optimized for writing flow. This is the whole thing. This is its whole purpose. So of course they're going to mention that as part of the like main feature of it. But yeah, we have talked about the fact that this is meant to be a distraction-free writing device. A couple of random spec things that I just wanted to share. This adjustable screen, so like you can have this really straight and upright if you want to. You can have it go a little bit back if you want, depending on how it's viewed best with you and your angle. But there is really no glare. Like you can kind of see that the light is shining there, but when you're looking at it and you're typing, that shine is not getting in the way of you seeing what's on the screen, which is really great. That's something that I really love about e-ink and e-ink systems, e-ink devices, is the lack of glare. So you can take these things truly anywhere you want, outside in the bright sunniness. It is not sunny today, but like if you were to go to the beach, let's say, I don't think I would take this to the beach, but if you were to take this to the beach, you can very successfully draft with this or write with this. Now, another spec that I want to talk about in terms of the software, I've talked about the hardware quite a bit. Oh, and by the way, in terms of the hardware, it does have a USB-C charging port right there, so that's how you charge it. And the battery has lasted me really long. I charged this up once and I can kind of leave it for like a month. So I have only charged this a total time of 2, and I didn't really even need to charge it that second time, but I charged it up just to be on the safe side. So the battery lasts very long, again, because this is mainly run on, or it is run on e-ink. So that makes the battery last really long, and all of the other things are quite simple, so it doesn't drain the battery. But another software thing that I wanted to talk about is cloud syncing. So if you're writing on this device, it does save locally, which means that you are writing on the device and it auto saves on the device, so that you don't have to manually hit save or anything like that. It will stay on the device and it will continue to save on the device. Now, you can also have this attached to like a cloud syncing thing. They have their own cloud sync, which is essentially like it syncs automatically to a web program or a web database, whatever it is that you use to kind of like save your documents on an internet level, on a cloud-based level. And so they have their own. It's called Postbox, and you can use that as your main cloud source, or you can use one that you prefer. So they have Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and Evernote as compatible programs that you can cloud sync this to. I personally use Google Drive. You all know that I was going to say that. But yeah, it does have like the 4 really big popular cloud services that you can sync this to. And so like I said before, when you're typing and it automatically syncs to the local device, it can also automatically sync to your Google Drive, to your OneDrive, whatever you choose. And you can also send this, like you can send documents or writing pieces to your email. There is a button right over here where it says send. I hope you can see that. I hope it's not like focusing on me. But there's a button right there that says send, and you can attach your email to this. You can link your email to this. You have to actually when you're setting this up. And so if you don't want to send it to a cloud, you don't want to keep it just here locally, you can just hit the button send and it will send to the attached email address that you have connected to this device. Going back to what I just said, when you are setting this up for the very first time, you do have to create an account, and I believe it's a Postbox account that they made me sign up with, but you attach an email to it, and that email is the email that will get the drafts that you send, and it will send straight to like your email, to your Gmail, if you will. I have tried that a couple of times before because I wasn't sure how the cloud syncing was working, and so I hit send, and it literally sent as like a text email to my email. And the way that you can connect your Wi-Fi, you can connect your cloud syncing, all of that stuff. It's through Wi-Fi, and so there are buttons right over here, right there, where you can set up the Wi-Fi. You can hit off if you want to take off the Wi-Fi and preserve some battery, and then turn it on whenever you're ready to sync up some stuff. There's an on button to do exactly what I just said, and then there's a new button where you can hit it, and then it will open up the local Wi-Fi things that you can log into and connect to. So if you want to connect to a Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, you can hit new and do that. You can do it at your job if you are going to the office, which is something that I personally do. I have it connected to my job's Wi-Fi whenever I'm in there. Or you can simply just take it off if you don't want to have any syncing. And then you can turn it on when you want to hit send to send an email. There's just so many ways. Long story short, there are so many ways to either send this to your computer to continue editing from there, or send it to whoever you need to send it to, or post it wherever you want to post it. Or you can just keep it here locally until you're ready to do whatever you want to do. You can also use the cable to connect this to a computer and transfer it that way. If you really want to go old school, if you will, you can manually connect this to a computer device and manually drag over your files as well. So there are so many ways to get the information that's in here that you wrote to your computer when it's time for you to get it to your computer. Okay, and I just want to quickly mention something that is on the website if it is applicable to you, but it says that it supports a lot of languages and alternative keyboard layouts, such as QWERTY, and some other ones like AZERTY, DVORAK, and more. It says it has 60 plus supported languages and 80 plus alternative keyboard layouts, which is super, super cool. Makes it extremely accessible. That doesn't really apply to me personally, but I love that it makes it extremely accessible. And then getting into some other cool things that are really particular to this device, and like the keys and what they can do. I had mentioned this a little bit earlier in the video, but there are particular keys that you can click onto, and it does particular tasks, which makes this really a curated experience for the Freewrite. So I'm just going to hit the power button, and it's going to turn on. I don't really need to show you an example of this technically. I can just show you the buttons. But these two buttons on the side over here, the two new buttons, if you were on a page, like if you were on okay, so this is just a blank page right here. This is essentially where you would begin typing, and you can probably see the words typing there, or the letters typing there. If you hold these two buttons and you just press down at the same time, you will see that it will create a brand new document. So you can start a brand new document from there. You can start typing from there. And I would like to just show you the speed of the typing here, because I know people are going to ask me about the lag because it is using e-ink, but here is an example of how fast it goes. In my opinion, for e-ink, I think that's pretty darn fast, and I'm not really looking up here and making sure that every single letter that I type is showing up at the second that I press the button. So personally, it's not going to be a huge issue for me, but just know that that's like the speed. I personally, like I said, I think that's a pretty great speed, and then I'll just hit backspace so you can see how that goes. Now, when you're backspacing, it's a little bit more of a problem, if you will, because like say you want to backspace a lot of stuff, you can't really highlight and erase a lot at the time. You just have to hit backspace over and over and over again. So if you wanted to erase like a paragraph, you are going to be sitting there pressing backspace for some time. But I think the point here is to not hit backspace. Like think about an old school typewriter. You are trying your best to not hit delete or backspace. The point is to just keep writing and drafting, and you'll get to backspacing, you'll get to editing and fine-tuning once you sync this over into your computer and you get into your editing stage. So this is more so for drafting, although you can erase, and I've done erasing of paragraphs many times on this, and it hasn't been a huge problem. You just have to be a little bit more patient than what you're used to if you're using like a laptop. Obviously, this is not a laptop. But yeah, those two buttons do that. And I forgot to mention at the top over here, but these are like folder buttons. Over here were the Wi-Fi buttons, over here was the power button, but these are folder buttons. So there's 3 different folders that you can kind of create, and then you can create as many documents as you want underneath each of those folders. So I'm just gonna hold down on B, and it will take me to that folder. And as you can see, it has 2 documents in there right now. Those were the 2 documents I just showed you. The one that I typed in at first, and then the one where I hit the 2 new buttons, and then it opened up a brand new document. So you can create as many documents as you want, and it will all stay in that folder. You can transfer over to another folder. So now I'm holding on to C, and it will take me to C where it has like a sample document in there as well. My main folder right now is A because I've only been using this for a couple of months. I only really have documents in there. So I'm just gonna hold down A. And you can see I have my book writing happening in there. So I'm gonna move from that screen so that you don't see too much just yet. But yeah, that is how you toggle over from different folders. And then you can see the number 1 or 2 on top of these documents. If you press 1, it will take you to that first document. If you press 2, it will take you over to the second document, obviously. So it is quite intuitive. It is extremely simple. So it's really easy to follow, and I think it makes it extremely accessible again, and also really easy to just get you to what you need to do so that you can start doing it. And the star of the show is obviously the keyboard so that you can start typing, and a bit of the screen so that you can see your progress as you write. Speaking of progress, there's a little screen down here that's kind of detached from this screen up here, and you can see there's some information there. Right now it says reading time, it says words, and then it says characters. Just do a little close-up for you there. So what you can do with that is actually customize it. There is a button that says special, and I'm just going to hit that, and as you can see, it changed to a clock. I'm going to hit it again, and then it changes to like word count. So, and then over here, it's kind of like a timer. So there's really cool curated writing specific things that can go underneath there. I just switched it over so that it shows nothing if you want to show nothing. But it has like really specific things that are really helpful to the writing process that goes down underneath there. There's also another one, and I'm not going to show it, but it will show you the date and it will show you the email address that is attached to this device. So you know that when you hit send, if you wanted to send it to an email, you'll know exactly which email it's sending to. So another really, really cool specific thing to the Freewrite device, which I think it makes it super cool and robust as a device. Some other things to just note, there is a page up and page down button right over here. So once you start writing, and as you can see, it's a small screen, very quickly you're going to want to scroll up and scroll down to see what you've been writing, and so these 2 buttons, the page up and page down, will allow you to do that. I believe if you hold down another button, and I can't tell you right now, it might be tab. I will put it on the screen because I can't remember right at this moment, but if you hold another button and then hold page up or page down, it will actually take you, instead of going through pages up and down, it will take you up through like lines. So if you wanted to stop at a particular line, you can do that as well. Again, these are things that like it does allow you to do, but it does take a couple of like extra steps to do it. So the main purpose is to do drafting, although I do like that it has the capability and option to let you do something like that, because I have actually used that a couple of times, although I can't remember which button it is at this given moment. I think those are, yeah, everything else on this keyboard is pretty much self-explanatory. It's a regular keyboard aside from those little special things. I'm just going to press the button here so that it can go into the sleep mode and close it. It does also go into sleep mode automatically when you close the screen for this particular one. So yeah, I think that is all that I can share about it in terms of like specs and special details. I'm just looking at the website really quickly in case I forgot something. Yes, I did forget something, or 2 things. One, it has a 1-year warranty standard. So once you buy it, you have a year of warranty and you can extend it if you want to. And then 2, Freewrite Plus. So Freewrite Plus is basically an extra add-on to the Freewrite device that gives you access to some extra cool things, such as things to optimize your workflow. There is enhanced software functionality, there's customization options, there is different document uploads, there are different key customizations, and there are advanced cloud settings. I have taken a look at some of these cool like customization and key customization things, and it does look extremely appealing. And if it wasn't something that I had to pay extra for, I would totally do it. I would totally like actually utilize those things. However, Freewrite Plus is a subscription, so you do have to pay for it. And I believe, I'm going to click onto it right now, it is $3.99 a month or $40 annually. So that can be a little steep to pay a subscription after you've paid minimum $550 for a device. So that is why I don't pay for it, even though I did get this as a gift. But like, it's just kind of steep when you put all of these calculations and prices together for a single device that is a single use, like truly a single use device. So if that is something that is appealing to you, I totally understand why, but it is an extra cost. I personally will not be getting that in the unforeseeable future. I don't think it's so worth it for me right now that I need to pay for it. But if I eventually need to pay for it, I will let you know and keep you updated on how that works. There is a 14-day free trial, by the way, if you want to like test it out and see if you do actually need it as part of your writing workflow. But yeah, those are all of the things that are mentioned on the website and all of the things that I can potentially share with you based off my personal experience at this given moment about the Freewrite Traveler. Initial thoughts, I can't give you a full length review right now because I've only been using it on and off for a couple of months, but initial thoughts, it's extremely helpful for me personally. I was worried that I was going to use this and I was going to be like, okay, this is cool, this is fun, it's a shiny new tech device anyway, and then move on and not really pick it up. But especially with me writing this book and needing dedicated time and not getting distracted by anything because I have deadlines, this thing is something that I pick up every single week now since the book deal. I write in it constantly. I really do write without any distractions, and I do make a lot of mistakes, but it also helps me to be okay with making a lot of mistakes because that pushes me forward into actually writing. So it's not only convenient, it's not only helpful and does the thing that it says that it tells me that it's supposed to do, but it's also helping me kind of grow out of this area of perfectionism where I don't need to write a perfect sentence as soon as I like literally write it. I can write a bunch of nonsense and then I can go back and edit it, and it's probably better for me to do that, to be honest with you. So initial thoughts, really like it, really do think that it is helpful. I also love that it's very compact, especially when my work bag is like 500 pounds going from New Jersey to New York twice a week. I feel like I'm carrying a carry-on truly, and so having this be light is an extra like perk, because then if it was too heavy, I wouldn't take it and then I wouldn't use it. So it's another accessibility thing right there. But that is all for today's video. That was kind of lengthy. There was a lot to kind of show you there because it's such a niche, unique device. But let me know if you have any questions about it. Let me know if you want me to share more of it in like casual areas, like when I'm doing vlogs, or talk about it throughout my writing experience, share a little bit more of how it looks and how it is used in terms of my writing experience right now, my author experience, my author journey. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you in the next video.